Hello, I'm Ollie and this is CriminOlly, where I talk about crime, pulp, horror, that kind of thing. Today, weird books, mystery books and a big ass classic. It's my March TBR. So I actually filmed this video a few days ago and then realised I'd missed some really important books out of it. So rather than just trying to insert those in the editing process, I thought it would be easier just to film it all again. So here we go. Right, so March. It's 3 events in March that I'm taking part in. And if you've never taken part in a BookTube event, if you're somebody who loves reading, they are a great way to connect with other people, you know, out there who are passionate readers. There's always BookTube events going on. You know, every month you see them talked about on people's channels. There's also a channel called the BookTube Bulletin Board, which does like a monthly video talking about all the things that are happening in the month ahead. So if you fancy getting involved in, you know, either in any of the events I'm going to talk about, or just generally getting involved in the reading events that go on YouTube or BookTube, then you know definitely check some out. It's like having a, you know, like a virtual book club. So anyway, let me talk about 3 of the ones that I'm going to get involved in this month. So the first one is the Week of Weird, which is an event run by Crystal from Fibre Artsy and Jason's Weird Reads. So that is from the 12th to the 19th of March. And it's an event dedicated to reading weird fiction. Now, I love weird books. I've just finished yesterday The King in Yellow by Robert Chambers, which would have been a great choice for the Week of Weird, actually. There are some prompts. There are some prompts for the Week of Weird, and I'll leave links to the announcement videos in the description for this one, so you can check out what those are. I'm not necessarily sticking to the prompts because my TBR is a bit stacked anyway, and I didn't necessarily have books that neatly fitted in. But the 2 books I'm going to be reading for Week of Weird are What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher, which does fit. I think one of the prompts is about like weird flora and fauna, and this I think definitely fits that. You can see the lovely mushroomy cover there. So this is a book that everyone I know who's read it has raved about. So yeah, looking forward to giving that a try. And then also I have this lovely Penguin Classics edition of 2 Thomas Ligotti books. So Ligotti is, you know, considered to be one of the modern masters of weird fiction, I think. Never read him, really looking forward to trying him. So this has got 2, as I say, 2 short story collections in, Songs of a Dead Dreamer and Grim Scribe. So I'm going to read the first of those, Songs of a Dead Dreamer, for the Week of Weird. So yeah, really looking forward to that as well. So the next event I'm going to be taking part in is March Mystery Madness. So as the name suggests, it's an event dedicated to reading mystery novels. I will leave a link to one of the announcement videos. There's about like 12 different hosts for it, I think. I'll leave a link to one of the announcement videos so you can check out what all the prompts are. But there are basically 4 prompts, which are I've now forgot what they were: lather, rinse, repeat, and gritty. So I'm not going to do the gritty prompt because so much of what I read is gritty anyway. But I am going to do the other ones. So let me get my books out for it. So repeat, I'm going to be reading. So repeat is like you can read a book you've read before, or you can interpret the prompts in different ways. But I'm going to reread Ed McBain's Cop Hater, so the first book in the 87th Precinct series, my favourite mystery series ever, my favourite book series ever, indeed. This is also a read this month. So for my Patreon book club, where I read, you know, I read a book every month with some of my patrons. They've picked Cop Hater as the book for this month as well. So yeah, really looking forward to reading this again. I love Ed McBain. The next prompt then is, actually I'm not doing the order, am I? Because repeat will be the final one. So one of the other prompts then is lather, which is about like cleaning things up, is the way it was described in the announcement video. So I'm going to read for that Red Harvest by Dashiell Hammett from this Big Book of the Continental Op. So Red Harvest obviously is available as a novel nowadays. It was originally published in like the pulp magazines as a serial. So that's the version I'm going to be reading. So about the Continental Op cleaning up this kind of corrupt town. So really looking forward to reading that. I've heard such great things about it. I read a Dashiell Hammett novel a while ago, The Maltese Falcon, and everyone in the comments said you should read Red Harvest, you'll really like it. So definitely looking forward to that. And then for Rinse, yes, I keep forgetting what the prompts are. For Rinse, which can be like a kind of nice, kind of cosy mystery type thing, I'm going to read Death on the Nile Bag, the Christie. So big fan of Christie, big fan of Poirot. That's probably that may be the only like really well known Poirot novel that I haven't read yet. So yeah, looking forward to reading that. And what I would say as well is that a few of the books I'm talking about are on my 50 books to read before I'm 50 list as well. So in fact, most of the books this month I've managed to kind of integrate them with the reading events, which is good. Okay, and then the final event I'm taking part in is March of the Mammoths. So if you don't know, Mammoth is considered to be a book that's over 800 pages. So I'm going to read for that, again, a book from my 50 before 50 list, War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy, which is, I think, about 1,400 pages. So, yeah, I really don't know how I'm going to get on with War and Peace. So I'm doing this kind of project I've set myself where I'm reading 12 classic books that were recommended by Michael K. Vaughan on his channel as, 12 of the greatest classics. War and Peace was one of them. I've had mixed success with that project so far. So if you've seen my videos, you'll know that I loved Moby Dick, for example. I'm reading the Sherlock Holmes stories as well, which were also on the list, which I'm enjoying. But I DNF'd both... what were they? Great Expectations by Charles Dickens, just didn't get on with it at all. And one by Dostoevsky, the name of which will come to me, The Brothers I always get the name wrong. The Brothers Karamazov. So yeah, I didn't get on with either of those. War and Peace seems to have a better reputation in that people say it's really quite readable. I'm a bit daunted by all the Russian names and whether or not I'll be able to keep track of those. I might have to make notes or something. But yeah, we shall see how I get on with that. So that's the reading event. And also, actually, another book. Let's talk about some other books I'm reading this month that kind of might fit in with the March Mystery Madness. So I've got a few classic crime novels that I'm going to be reading this month as well. So not necessarily mysteries, but in the crime genre. So a couple of Patricia Highsmiths. So I'm doing this project with Anne Novella, where we are reading all of Patricia Highsmith's books this year. So next up, we skipped over, and I should say this in case there's any people who are really paying attention and will notice that I haven't talked about The Talented Mr. Ripley. So in theory, I should have read The Talented Mr. Ripley next, but I've already read it. Anne and I both read it in the last year or so. So I'm not, we've decided we're not going to reread it. So the next one then is Deep Water, which I love. I love this vintage paperback edition I've got of that. And then the one after that, I can't remember which order they're going. I think it's the one after that is A Game for the Living, which I know nothing about, but yeah, looking forward to that one as well. And then also from my 50 before 50 list, we have here Beast in View by Margaret Miller, which is in this Women Crime Writers Library America edition. People keep on raving to me about Margaret Miller, so an author I definitely want to try. And then also I have this, The Conjure Man Dies by Rudolph Fisher. So this is the first mystery novel written by an African-American author. So really looking forward to seeing what this is like. This was recommended to me in the comments when I did my video on Chester Himes and Donald Goines. So yeah, really interested to see what this is like. Clearly fits the March Mystery Madness theme, even if it doesn't necessarily fit one of the prompts exactly. Okay, so that's the big reading events out of the way. In terms of other kind of coordinated reads, I will also, so I've said that for my Patreon book club we're going to be reading Cop Hater by McBain. This book Cunning Folk by Adam Neville came a very close second in the vote, so I'm going to be reading this one as well because I wanted to read it anyway, and will be, you know, people are welcome to join the discussion about it should they want to. We'll also be reading for another book club, so Kelsey from the channel Slime and Slashers runs a book club for her Patreon as well. The book we are reading this month is Infestation by William Meikle, which is the first of a series of books which are, I think, kind of silly horror adventures. I think this is about giant bugs or something like that. So it looks a lot of fun. It was a book I nominated and we voted on it, and my choice won. It looks very silly but very enjoyable. So yeah, looking forward to that. For my birth year book club, where we read books that are from the birth years of people who've either made my birth year book tag video on YouTube or are like members of the book club. So everybody gets to nominate a book from the year of their birth, and then we vote each month on what we're going to read. The book that won the vote this month is Something Wicked This Way Comes by Ray Bradbury, which is an absolute classic. I'm actually not going to be reading it because I read it last year, but I will be joining in the discussion on that one. And then finally, I'm doing a buddy read with one of my Patreons, Georgianne Marsh. So we're going to be reading Suicide Forest by Jeremy Bates, which is the first in his, I think it's called the World's Scariest Places series. So it looks like a lot of fun. It was a series I'd heard of, and I've seen some reviews of, and people seem to quite like them. So yeah, looking forward to giving that one a try. I think that is everything. Let me just check my lists. Oh no, hold on. I've got another list here on a post-it. Let's just check. Okay, so there's 3 things on this that I haven't mentioned then. So first one is Kin by Keelan Patrick Burke. So he's one of those kind of indie authors who everyone seems to rave about. I've never read anything by him. I've had Kin on my Kindle for about 10 years, so definitely need to get to that one. Also going to be reading Demons by Daylight by Ramsey Campbell. So a classic horror short story collection, which is very well thought of. So yeah, looking forward to that one. And then also A Call for the Dead by John le Carre, his first novel and also the first of the George Smiley novels. So I'm intending to read all of the Smiley books in order over the next, I don't know how long. I'm trying to stop pressurising myself with timescales on things. So I'm going to be reading all of them anyway. And this is the first. So yeah, looking forward to that. I've read The Spy Who Came In From the Cold before. I thought that was fantastic. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be reading in March, and it feels like the list of books I've got quite nicely fits the crime pulp horror slogan of the channel. So yeah, looking forward to it. There's about 5,000 pages there, which is doable for me in a month. What I am worried about is War and Peace, because I think that's going to take me longer to read than it would take me to read, you know, 4 books that had 300 pages, shall we say. So yeah, we will see how I get on with that. Okay, time for a random book from the shelves. Today is one that was very kindly sent to me as a gift a little while ago, and that's The Devil Takes You Home by Habino Iglesias, which everyone who's read it seems to love. Really looking forward to this. It sounds like an interesting mix of crime and horror, which obviously is right up my alley. So I hope you found that interesting. Let me know what you're going to be reading in March. Let me know if you're taking part in any of the reading events I talked about, or indeed in other ones. I know it's middle grade March as well. So yeah, there's always, as I said at the start, there's always loads of reading events floating around on BookTube, and they're definitely worth taking part in if they appeal to you. So yeah, let me know if you're going to be doing that with any of them. And as always, thanks very much for watching. Hope you're safe and well out there. Hope you're reading good stuff, and I'll speak to you again very soon. Cheerio.